Welcome to Marketplace Finds, where we show off some crazy and interesting cars for sale, judge what we think of the price, then order it in our tier list. I don't think anyone will have a clue what you're looking at just from this first picture alone, and neither did I. As it turns out, it's actually a 1995 Pontiac Firebird that's wearing a body kit, so extreme it looks like someone tried to draw a Lamborghini during an earthquake. This thing has more random angles than a high school geometry exam, and absolutely none of them match. The seller claims it was in a car magazine, which honestly makes sense as they have to get their content from somewhere, and half the pictures in this listing are clearly screenshots of someone else's photos. Like even the car itself didn't want to be seen in HD. The interior is weirdly standard compared to the nightmare on the outside just having some blue painted accents. They're after $6,000 or trades for another kit car because he somehow hasn't learned his lesson from this one. Up next we've got a 3000 GT VR4 that is fully committed to being Lightning McQueen's depressed cousin. The matte red paint looks like it was applied with a bath towel and the body kit really is something else. Just look at the hole for the gas filler. I could cut a better hole while drunk with my eyes closed using a blunt sawzall blade. I do have to give it some props in that the stickers all seem to be on point and to a decent quality. Even the interior looks surprisingly tidy and the engine bay isn't half bad either. But in true 3000 GT fashion, the car is apparently leaking every fluid known to man. Third gear wants nothing to do with you and the brakes have decided to take a permanent vacation. He wants $5,000 or best offer, and honestly, even with the seller openly admitting the laundry list of problems, it's still a cool car. The kind someone will scoop up fast just for the VR4 badge alone.
Give me a hell yeah!
Next up is a 1997 Daihatsu deck van that somebody turned into the world's smallest, angriest theme park ride. It's lifted a full 8 inches, still making it about knee height, running chunky ATV tires, and painted every redneck's favourite paint, bedliner. But the real show is out back. 2 plastic seats, literally bolted to the bed like someone tried to build a roller coaster, but ran out of track after the first 3 feet. These things look like they came off a playground slide, and I'm pretty sure they offer all the structural support of a wet napkin. If you've ever wanted to strap your friends in like they're about to ride a carnival attraction that definitely hasn't passed inspection, this is your moment. Inside, it's your normal K-van interior, a manual gearbox, a high and low transfer case, and enough room to transport 2 adults or 7 kids, assuming you don't mind explaining to their parents why they came home with dust in their lungs and mild emotional trauma. It's been listed up for $10,000, so it's priced a little high, but just think of all the savings you'll make after your kids will never want to see an amusement park ever again.
Reese's Puffs.
Next is a 1998 Crown Victoria that's gone all in on Reese's branding, like it's being sponsored by diabetes itself. I already know Bro's dentist has put his kids through college just from the seller themselves. Even the 26-inch rims are on theme, but I'm honestly sad we only get 2 exterior shots of this masterpiece. Inside is equally as chaotic because not only are there even more Reese's logos, but 7 TVs like a literal Best Buy shoved into a Crown Vic. Screens on the dash, screens on the roof, screens where Logic used to be. They're asking $4,800, which Reese's themselves would probably pay you more to cover it up. If you've ever wanted to live inside something that looks like it crash landed in Roswell in 1951, this Spartan Imperial Mansion is calling your name. She's 34 feet long, and sure the windows are starting to look like Walter White, and Jesse have cooked a few batches inside it, but it's still got more style than most RVs on the road. Step inside, and it's basically a time capsule of warm birch paneling, the walls, ceiling, cabinets, all original wood that somehow survived 70 plus years without being turned into kindling. It's like walking into a national park gift shop, but cozy. 2 bedrooms, a full kitchen, a living area. Honestly, it's nicer than some apartments I've toured. The seller does say it's in need of a little bit of work and doesn't explain any further, but considering it was built in the 50s, I don't think you'll have any troubles fixing it up. Unfortunately though, it's just been sold for $19,500, which sounds wild until you realize people spend more than that on a tiny home that doesn't even have wheels. You know what's a bigger red flag than a chick with a zodiac sign tattooed on her collarbone? A motorcycle painted like the Joker. It was once a 2002 Yamaha Roadstar, but now someone who got all their wisdom from Hot Topic wall art has done this to it. It's painted head to toe in the classic purple and green Joker colors, and of course it's plastered in every recycled Joker quote these dudes think they discovered themselves. And of course, the seller filmed the video in pitch black darkness. Did you really expect anything less? But the cowboy boot comparison to the giant rear tire definitely helps sell it. It currently doesn't run because the wiring melted on the motor, but they swear it would be a $10,000 bike finished up. They didn't put a price on it, only wanting swaps for a Corvette, Mustang, or a nice truck, so maybe this guy is the real Joker after all. I know the side-by-side community isn't going to love this one, but we're looking at something that might just make them second guess their next purchase. It's a 2025 Vanderhall Brawley GTS, and yes, it's electric. Before you go clicking the dislike button or putting a comment about me slipping and hitting my head before riding this, just hear me out. I'm talking 35-inch tires from the factory, 140 mile range, but but craziest of all, 400 horsepower, and trust me, it hurts to give it props coming from a guy who would prefer to smell two-stroke fumes than vanilla, but those specs are pretty insane. Even the inside looks relatively comfortable, and I watched a video of some guys taking it on the highway, and unlike your usual side-by-sides, it wasn't deafening. This one is up for $49,000, so it's a bit more expensive than your fully loaded side-by-sides, and you'll definitely get bullied by them too. Another day, another garage gold video, and somehow we've stumbled onto yet another custom van that looks like it's hiding more secrets than a 1970s motel guest log. This 1975 Dodge B100 rolls in, looking like a bronze time capsule from an era when men didn't wash their jeans and gas was 30 cents. The bronze paint glows like someone melted a Werther's original and sprayed it out of a Harbour freight gun, but she's clean and the paint does look great. Then there's the side pipes that stick out just enough to crisp your shins on a hot day, and boy do they sound good. But something I don't think we've seen on one of these before is it's got twin sunroofs, one for ventilation and one for dramatic lighting during whatever questionable activities happen inside. Speaking of which, we've got quilted vinyl on every surface and faux fur that's seen more DNA than 23andMe. That probably feels like you're sleeping inside a taxidermied Yeti. But the absolute best feature is this random Lord of the Rings Nazgul bar light, so you can have a few drinks before you find a different type of ring. I think the seller may be holding on to some dear memories because they're trying to sell it for a huge $35,000, and although she's clean, I think that's way too high. Next up, we've got a 1990 Honda Gyro wearing a full Japanese MRD fiberglass body kit, which basically turns it into a washing machine trying to cosplay as a Star Wars speeder. From the front, it's got that unsettling looking face to it, like it's Baymax's off-brand cousin who means well but also knows your browser history. Down the side, it becomes a full 80s sci-fi prop, all curves, no logic. And the rear, that's not a cargo box, that's a portable toilet shell on lawnmower tires. It replaces the passenger seat, but I don't think there's any chance a lady would even want to be seen on this thing. I don't even know if this thing has enough power to go forwards with a windscreen that seems to be 90% of the whole scooter. The seller casually adds, "We have other gyros available," which is honestly terrifying. One is enough. It's priced at $2,250, which seems fair, and I'm sure some hipster in Brooklyn is ready to remortgage his apartment for it. Up next is something guaranteed to make every conspiracy theorist slam their keyboard in excitement, a 1985 Chevy government surveillance van. Yes, an actual taxpayer-funded spy box on wheels that apparently cost $500,000 back in the 80s. Now it's sitting in a random overgrown graveyard surrounded by rusty barrels and giant weeds, but don't let the exterior fool you because the interior is insane. The front's been bulletproofed, there's a dry ice AC system, a convertible bed, a built-in toilet, and the crown jewel, a massive roof-mounted periscope system that once held a 200mm Canon camera. It is legitimately one of the coolest, creepiest, most unique interiors you'll see in any van, let alone one abandoned behind an overgrown junk pile, especially because this thing probably has some crazy stories. It's been listed up for $12,000, and I kind of feel like that's cheap for something I imagine car collectors would go crazy over. Here's a 1998 Honda Civic that looks like it clawed its way out of a 2003 tuner forum and never logged off, back from the era when everyone's dream build was suicide doors, shaved handles, purple paint, and a body kit installed over 6 weekends of arguing with your cousin's mate who does fiberglass on the side. It's somehow both impressive and unhinged, but there's one mod I definitely can't agree with, and that's the Nissan R33 Skyline taillights. Inside, it's exactly what you expect: purple everything, billet bits, aftermarket gauges, and a steering wheel that resembles something you'd find in a theme park simulator ride. The engine, on the other hand, is extremely put together. The seller gave us no information on it, but the turbo setup tells me some money's been spent on it. The asking price is $15,000, which is bold, but I feel like if they came down a few thousand, they'd probably find a buyer. Next up is a 2010 Mitsubishi Lancer that looks like it escaped from an art student's final project the night before grading. The entire exterior is hand painted, and I mean every panel. The hood has 2 koi fish circling what can only be Old Greg emerging from the water. The passenger side has, well, whatever you'd call this thing, but I can at least identify the other side, which I think is Haku from Spirited Away. And look, I'm roasting, but I can't even draw a stick figure without it looking like it survived a house fire. So credit where it's due, this is still way more artistic talent than I'll ever have. The iridescent door panels have to go though. It runs, it drives, it's been rear-ended, and now has a rebuilt title, but you can't really complain for $2,000. Maybe some mega Spirited Away fan will pick it up. Up next, we've got something that looks like a lifted truck retiree would build after missing the lifted life, but now has to keep his flexing to the golf course. It's an easy go limo golf cart, and I don't think I've seen such a midlife crisis vehicle quite like it. From the color shift paint to the 35-inch tires, this thing is massive. It's sitting on 26-inch TIS wheels that probably cost more than the last actual car you bought, but these ones will never see a speed over 5 miles per hour. It's of course also got underglow, and even a dash that's made up of speakers more than anything else. Then you get to the price, $30,000, the kind of money people spend on actual cars, land, or a down payment on a house instead of a damn golf cart.
Get her done. man.
Every now and then we stumble across something so weird we can only ask ourselves who and why did they make that. Today's treasure is the 1980 Triutera, a three-wheeled kit car from the glory days of backyard engineering. The Triutera was one of the more infamous kit car experiments of the era. Marketed as a lightweight, motorcycle-powered commuter pod, it promised cutting-edge fuel economy, spaceship looks, and construction steps that often resulted in divorce. And now one sits here in the woods like a crashed probe from an alien species with a very limited budget. It needs glass, paint, interior, wiring, and probably therapy, but at least it's got a running Goldwing engine in it, so it's at least 10% completed. The seller's asking for $1,500 and tells us it's well worth the money, which I weirdly agree. I would honestly love to see this goofy thing back on the road.
It's just one of those days.
This thing started life as a normal 1980 GMC 3500, and then someone stretched it until the frame audibly begged for mercy. These were already long boys, but who doesn't want a bit of extra length? The outside looks like a school bus, and it dually had a secret baby, then painted it black so nobody would recognize it in public. You can even see the old paint jobs. First it was blue, then casino shuttle red. Now it's wearing this matte black witness protection program disguise. The seller didn't really take any good photos, but we're just going to assume that's because it's too damn long that it's hard to get a good picture of. Inside is exactly what you'd expect, with leather benches, long wraparound seating, and a radio setup probably older than I am. They want $27,000, which I can only assume is a charge by the foot situation, because mechanically, it's still a stretched 80s GM truck, but financially, it's a stretched imagination. This 2013 Infiniti G37 has more licensing violations than miles per gallon. Every square inch is covered in Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Looney Tunes, or Disney characters. Pretty much every single cartoon show most of us watched as a kid is displayed on the car. I'd list them out, but there's literally too many. And look, I'd never do this to my car, but the nostalgia whiplash I'm getting is making it hard for me to roast it. There is one photo that gave me a good chuckle. At first, I thought they were showing off their epic crocs until I realized they were showing off the Infiniti logo light. The seller wants $9,000 or best offer, which feels ambitious for a rebuilt title G37 wearing a full cartoon universe skin. But hey, maybe they're hoping a hardcore nostalgia addict will show up and throw money at it. This majestic creature began as a 2000 Lincoln limo, and then someone decided to turn it into a spiritually inspired Rolls Royce. It weirdly looks half decent in the only two exterior shots we get, but I just know if we could get up close, those fake RR badges are holding on with more hope than adhesive. Even the two-tone paint's not that terrible, and 99% of normal people wouldn't even know this is a fake Rolls. Inside, it's still just a town car limo with a handful of Rolls-Royce ghost badges slapped around on the dash, but my favourite has to be the one stuck onto the steering wheel, right where the airbag is, so it's one minor impact away from giving the driver a lobotomy. They're after $26,000, and there's just no way anyone's going to be paying that anytime soon. Here's how the final tier list ended up. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong, if there's anything you change around. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hope everyone's having good holidays, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.